On today's show, we're talking Trailblazers over-unders with my friend Chuck. How many points is CJ McCollum going to score? How many games is Greg Brown III going to play? And how many minutes each night is Nazir Little going to get? We'll talk about that all next on Locked On Blazers. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Trailblazers, your daily Portland Trailblazers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What up, world? It's your past first point guard and Trailblazers reporter Mike Richmond. You are listening to another episode of Locked On Blazers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Available wherever you get podcasts and also on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribing on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, you already know today's a special one. We got a guest with me. He's right here in the panel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs by Halloween. So get on YouTube. Help us get there. We're pushing up towards 600, probably past 600 by the time you're listening to this. But today's episode isn't just about subscribing on YouTube. Still very important. It's also about over-unders, and with me to pick Trailblazers over-unders for the season is none other than my friend Chuck Charles Tuggle. What's poppin', Chucky Muggs?
Not a lot, brother. Happy to be back. Thanks for having me, and looking forward to this new season, which is just around the corner.
Oh, days away, less than a week away from opening night as we record this. For longtime podcast listeners or longtime sort of podcast appreciators, I guess, Charles and I used to host a Blazers podcast together back in the day when I worked for the Oregonian. But, now Charles, he abandoned me and moved to the East Coast. And so now I have to just get him on once or twice a season because he's still got plenty of Blazer insights. And what we're going to do for Blazer Insights today, we're going to leverage Charles's fandom. Charles, you're still a Blazer fan. You haven't adopted the Knicks, have you, now that you live in Manhattan, right?
No, they're the local team, though. I have to admit, the secondary team and folks who move around a little bit and are big sports leagues fan in particular, you know how this goes a little bit. Passing interest in the local team, but I was faced with the decision right when I moved here to Knicks fans. The choice was easy. I'll go with the suffering and the misery and the it and cool factor, which the Knicks will always have. But Blazers first and foremost. Thank you very much.
Yeah, in fact, you've connected with people out there because you identify as a Blazer fan. So you're not faking the funk. You're admitting it out in public.
That's right. Blazers fans making friends everywhere, and even Flagrant magazine friends. I see some of those issues on your shelf behind you. So
nice. I actually have issue 3. I actually have issue 3, and there's a little black space like right above me here. If you're watching on YouTube, it's right there. It should be right there, but I'm literally reading it. It's on my coffee table, so I moved it out of my display. But it'll be back soon. Let's get into these over-unders, Charles, because we got a bunch to get through. These were sent in by listener Ben Sprouse. That's at Ben_Sprouse on Twitter. Ben is kind enough to send me these every year, and they're incredible. Like, they're so good. They're really fantastic. So thanks, and huge shout out to Ben. Charles, the first one we're gonna do: Damian Lillard over/under 3.7 threes per game. What do you got?
I got over.
I'm going over too. The last 2 years, Damian Lillard made 4.1 threes per game. I don't think he's going to make less. And if he does, I don't think he's going to make a whole half less. Like, they're going to launch threes, right? Like,
yeah. And he took a step up in sort of his career numbers of made threes per game. And I think that's the tier he's at now. So I don't see him fluctuating too much from that. When earlier in his career, it was, high 2s, 3s, and then he sort of plateaued. Maybe not plateaued, but he's reached that sort of height of a plateau of around 4 a game. So I think it's close to that 4 number.
If the over-under was at 4, would you take the over?
I might take the under there because part of the interest in this new season is the hope, maybe, or aspiration that there's a little bit more ball movement. Maybe a side effect of that was Dame getting minuscule, sort of fewer of shots or attempts up. So that would change my pick, but I'm pretty confident in an over here that he's flame throwing, and that's just who he is.
Yeah, I'm pounding the over at 3.7. I'm hesitant at 4, but I'm kind of a believer that they're just Dame's still gonna have the ball and shoot a lot, and that the egalitarian love is a October thing and not a January thing. But we'll see. Next over under, Charles. Anthony Simons, 1.4 free throw attempts per game. Where are you at?
This is fandom, I think, sort of driving me, but I'm over. I'm over on this one. I
Oh,
think Ant must do this. I think he
yeah, yeah.
must meet this over under this criterion. He must exceed this number for the sort of future development of his own game, and for the development of the Blazers team game. He's got to step up like this, attack the rim, use that athleticism, some of that handle. Over.
And he's
I'm
gonna have the
hoping
ball in
for it.
his hands more, and that's
Yeah,
that's
more
gonna help.
opportunities.
Yeah. So Ant averaged 0.7 free throws per game last year, near the bottom of the team. I went over as well on this, and my logic is that last year Gary Trent Jr. shot 1.8 free throws per game, and Gary Trent Jr. basically only shot jump shots. He shot like so many step back middies that I
Yeah.
feel like Ant with like a similar shot diet will be in the 1.5 range. I'm scared though. I'm not 100%. This is one where I was like over, but I don't know. Like I'm not super confident in this.
Yeah, the initial reaction of myself sort of perusing these was under, just on base that sort of historical reticence he has sort of in
Oh, we're both
attacking the
fanning
rim.
out. We're
But
both fanning out. Like, no, Ant's gonna do it, even though we
yeah,
both thought under initially. I love it.
it's about that time sort of in his sort of development arc. If I'm being kind of generous and seeing and learning the different sort of skills that come along with more experience and playing time, this is the step. You got to think the whole organization, the whole coaching staff is like, that's a big part of their messaging to Ant is we're trusting you, we're giving you the ball more, and you're the dunk contest champion. So see what happens when you attack the basket more.
Yeah, and
Good things.
in the preseason against the Kings, when he was given the rock to like go and get it, he got to the rim a couple times. So I think even though we're both admitting that maybe we're home, this is a little homerish, I think there's some logic to it. Okay, next over under is Nazir Little, 16 and a half minutes per game. What do you got?
Okay, let me find my.
I
I
know
don't want to
I
go
sent
against
these
my
to you
notes.
out of
I made
order.
some notes.
I sent these to you out of order. That's my bad.
It was how many minutes again?
16 and a half.
16 and a half. This one was close. My initial thought, my reaction, my instinct was under, but I think this is along the lines of that Ant sort of one with a larger role, potentially more trust. I'm going over on this one. The right step sort of moment in his sort of development as well, more responsibility and making good on it. So I think the minutes are there for Nas. Does he make good on it and sort of keep them? We'll see. But I think from the outset he'll sort of have that. So I'm going over.
Yeah, I have over two, and my logic is that last year Anthony Simons played 17 minutes per game and Rodney Hood played 19 minutes per game, and I
Hmm.
kind of think that's about the role for Nas. Like not an every night player, but he's going to play the majority of nights, and when he does, he'll have a real role, and a real role is something north of 16 minutes. I think this is a really good line. I think 16 and a half, like Ben knocked this one out of the park. 16 and a half is a really tough betting line. I'm leaning over, but I'm a little scared.
Yeah, no, that one's gonna be close. Yeah, these are good. So again, kudos to Ben for sending these odds
Yeah.
in. They've made it fun. Thank you.
Over under 5.5 starts for Tony Snell.
I'm going under. Under. I
Oh,
think if this happens, these are cataclysmic circumstances like big injuries. The team is backed up, but maybe some COVID stuff, crazy stuff happens. I don't see it happening really. Tank commander kind of situation where the team
yeah.
is all of a sudden just going down the drain. I don't see that happening either. So I'm going under on the starts. I think we'll see
All
some
right. This is
play
the
though.
first one we disagree on. I have over. And my logic is that I don't know. That doesn't seem six seems like just like random twisted ankle. You need six starts at small forward. They don't have it. Because here's really it is like if any of the guards miss time, you slide CJ and Norm down or whatever. Like you slide the guards down, and then the question is at small forward where they just don't have a lot of depth.
Mm.
And I'll just guess that Snell starts a seventh game or whatever. Based on that. But I like this line too. I think it's worth it. But this is the first one we disagree on. Okay, next one is Nurk 3.5 assists.
Over.
Yeah, over.
I'm hoping, praying. He's shown those passing chops. He was complaining at the very sort of end of last season about these sort of issues, his role in the offense, what is asked of him, what is needed of him, passing the ball, moving the ball, or in the post. He's wanted that. He's hoping he's going to get some more action from Billups in a new improved offense. So it's happening. Over. Nurkic is moving, operating from the high post.
Yeah, I'm over too. Last year he averaged 3.4 assists per game. If you assume like slightly more share of the playmaking duties, I think the over is easy. I think this would be more interesting at 4. I think 4.5 would be where you'd really start to see action. I think 3.5 is a no-brainer that you pound the over because he basically did it last year and he's supposed to get the ball more. All right, let's come back. We got more over-unders from the great Brent Sprouse. We will answer them. We will discuss them all in the second and third segments. But before we do that, I want to tell y'all about PrizePicks. PrizePicks has the best NBA DFS prop game on the market, offers more NBA props than any other DFS prop operator, and offers all the superstar players as well as the bench players, only recording a handful of minutes each. Here's how it works. You pick 2 to 5 players and an over-under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 times that amount on an entry. It's just you versus the projected numbers, so it's simple. And if you go to PrizePicks right now, PrizePicks.com, and you use the promo code NBA, you will receive a 100% instant match on a $100 deposit. That means if you put $100 down, you get $200 when you use that promo code NBA. They got an award-winning app that's available in the App Store and also on Google Play, and entries can be made in 60 seconds or less, so it's quick and easy. PrizePicks is safe and offers fast withdrawals. If you are looking for an NBA DFS operating system, this is the place to go. So don't hesitate. Check out prizepicks.com and use the promo code NBA, or go to the App Store and download the app today. That's PrizePicks, is daily fantasy made easy. All right. I'm still chatting here with Charles Tuggle, and we're still rocking with over-unders. That music you hear is from Dre Slaps, who makes all the music for Locked On Blazers. Shout out to Dre. You can find a link to his merch and his music in the description to this episode. We're going through Blazers over-unders, so let's keep it rolling, Charles. This next one, CJ McCollum over under 22 points per game. Where you at?
I'm at the over here.
You're at the over. Okay.
Yeah, over. And maybe I'm again not lending as much weight to sort of more ball movement in the offense as I was baking into my response for Nurkic. I again, sort of just like Dame hitting those 4 threes a game, I think this is CJ's level. This is where he's at. This is almost his floor, really, at this stage of his career. And over. I'm pretty confident in that. I think he plays well. He started so well last year and sort of got derailed by some niggling injuries. So I think he's healthy. I think he's good. And I think he goes over 22 points a game. Easy.
I'm going under. Last 3 seasons, CJ McCollum has averaged 21 points per game, 22.2 points per game, and 23.1 points per game last season. I'm a believer that more shots for Norm and more shots for Nurk and more touches for Ant, less ball in his hands with the second unit means 1 less point, something like that. Like I think 22 is really close. Like this was probably the one that I debated the most. I agree with you. This is basically who he is. He's a 22 point per game guy. So I might be, this one feels like I could be legitimately be wrong on this, but that's where I'm at. I'm going under. So I'm glad you're over. I'm glad this is one we can fight about. Next one, CJ Ellaby over under 7.5 total steals for the season. Where you at?
Under on this one. I don't know what sort of role he'll get this year. These end of the bench guys, I just don't know. I think he had 6 steals all of last season.
Yeah, 6 steals in 192 minutes.
So he gets more minutes, and then you see those coming along with it. But I'm going under just because I'm not a believer in CJ Ellaby, and I just don't know what his role will look like.
So I think the only thing CJ Ellaby is good at is getting in the passing lanes. This is like literally his own.
His a few steals here and there.
This is literally his only NBA skill in my mind. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna go over. I'm shocked to hear you say under because I feel like this is a relatively low number. So 6 steals in 192 minutes. He had a 1.5 steal percentage, which like kind of is a meaningless number on its own. It's like I literally looked the number up on Basketball Reference and then I said to myself, is that good? I don't know if that's good. The league leaders average like 3.5, like Jimmy Butler, like 3.5 steal percentage. A 1.5 steal percentage is about the same range as Lou Dort and Mikal Bridges. Very good defensive players. I'm a believer in CJ Ellaby as someone who steals the ball. I'm pounding the over. Big money on the over 7.5 steals. Next one is Greg Brown over under 21.5 games played.
Over. I think this guy's got the sort of like raw potential that you have to test out sort of early to see kind of what they can potentially give you in those sort of live run minutes. And yeah, I think he ends up sort of getting some spot time here and there. And definitely he's first off the bench for kind of garbage time sort of moments, I would think.
Yeah, how many NBA games have do you get 90 seconds of garbage time when it's just like, okay, let's just get everyone out for the last possession or whatever it is. Not even 90 seconds. That may be disrespectful, but like 3.5 minutes or something where it's just like, damn, we play tomorrow night and we're down 17. Let's yank them. Or we play tomorrow night and we're up 22. Like let's get out of here safe and have Greg play. My math here was that last year CJ Ellaby played 30 games, 30 of 72, and I feel like Greg Brown is going to be in that range as well. So yeah, I'm with it. I'm with the over. Our next one, Charles, is Trendon Watford. 10.5 games played. Over under.
Yeah, I don't know much about this young gentleman. I'm going
who you
under.
do know? You know who you do know? He's
I know,
Christian Watford's little brother.
I know Christian
You
Watford.
know his older brother for sure.
Yeah, huge shot for the Hoosiers back in the day over Anthony Davis's Kentucky. Is that the game?
Watford for the win.
Was that AZ's Kentucky?
It was a very good Kentucky team. It might predate that a little bit, but I'm not. It's right around there. Watford for the win. I remember I remember the shot, left wing 3 in Indiana, like at home. I'm not 100%. It might have been against Duke. Might have been against a really good Duke team. But regardless, we can talk about college basketball.
Fact check that later. This is his younger brother. He's kin to Christian.
Yes. 10.5 games over under.
Yeah, under. I don't know much about this guy. I haven't watched a lick of preseason ball. I don't really do that, even though I am a fan. I don't know about this guy. I got to go under. I don't know. He's got.
You're getting your news. You're getting your news from Locked On Blazers. You know that's like you'll tune in when the games count. I'm gonna go over just because of blowouts, but I'm really nervous about it. My math was that Keldon Blevins played 17 games last year out of 72, and I kind of think Trendon Watford's like that. That's what he is.
He's got.
But I'll tell you what. But they've been really reluctant to play Watford even in preseason. Like he comes in super late. So, I'm going to go over, but I don't think it's a lock. Okay. One more before we go to the third segment. Marquise Chris over under 0.5 games played for the Blazers. Basically, is Marquise Chris going to make the roster? Yes or no?
No, I'm going under.
Me too. Because Dennis Smith Jr. is going to get the job, right?
Yeah, I think he can offer sort of more solid, consistent sort of NBA skills when that moment would be needed. And it might not be needed very often for Dennis Smith Jr., but when it is, and sort of those injury sort of moments, those games where maybe Tony Snell starts or whatever, you might be able to trust him to run the offense for a few minutes. And Chris is kind of bounced. He's still really young, right?
Right.
So he's bounced around a bit now. And I think he's kind of standing on the precipice of his career. And I'm not betting on him. Sorry, bud.
I was actually a pretty big Marquise Chris believer until I watched him play a couple preseason games, and I was like, maybe not. And I feel like preseason is like not a great, I don't know, it's not a great like sort of like measure or maybe incubator for like guys like improving. It's just ragged basketball a lot of the times. But I thought he looked really bad in the opening game. He looked better in the second game when he got more regular run. But I was on the Marquise Chris hype train. I was telling listeners like, Chris is my guy. If you want to know who's going to make it, Chris. And now I'm like, yeah, it's Dennis Smith. Who cares?
Yeah, sorry, bud. Not making the roster.
Yeah,
under.
I didn't mean it for it to go that way. That's just how it did. All right, let's come back in the third segment, answer more of these over-unders. We've got a handful more that we will go through. Again, shout out to Brent Sprouse for sending the great ones to us. But before we get there, let's talk all about Theragun. Don't let the stress of daily life weigh on your body, whether you're an elite athlete like me or someone who's just trying to make it through the day tension-free. Just kidding, I'm more of the latter. Regardless of who you are, Theragun can help. Theragun is the handheld percussive therapy device that releases your deepest muscle tension using a scientifically calibrated combo of depth, speed, and power. And it's as quiet as an electric toothbrush. The Gen 4 Theragun doesn't just feel good, it gets to the source of pain by releasing tension using Theragun's signature percussive therapy, which goes 60% deeper than vibration alone. So whether you want to treat muscle tension from working out, an injury, or just the stresses of daily life, there's no substitute for Theragun Gen 4. Plus, that OLED screen and design makes you feel like you're holding something from the future. just go to their website and check it out. And the Theragun app, this is even better. It learns from your behavior so it can suggest guided routines to make your body feel better. Try Theragun for 30 days, starting at only $199. Go to therabody.com/lockedon right now and get your Gen 4 Theragun today. That's therabody.com/lockedon, therabody.com/lockedon. Today's show is also brought to you by Built Bar. It's the best tasting protein bar on the market. My personal favorites are cookies and cream and the chocolate peanut butter brownie. But whatever your palate is, whatever you're into, you're going to find a Built Bar that meets your needs. Whether you're into the new flavors like cherry lime or churro puff or even strawberry puff, or you want some classics like German chocolate and salted caramel, whatever it is, Theragun is going to meet your taste buds where they are. And better than just being tasty and delicious, they also pack a punch: 17 to 18 grams of protein, 130 to 180 calories, 4 to 5 grams of sugar, no more than 5 grams of net carbs. All tasty, all healthy. What more could you want? Go to built.com. Use the promo code LOCKED15. You'll get 15% off your next order. That's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. Still a pass first point guard. Still Mike Richmond. You're still listening to Locked On Blazers. Still chatting here with my friend Chuck Charles Tuggle. We're doing Blazers over-unders. Charles, let's keep it rolling. Our next over-under is Larry Nance Jr. over-under 0.9 steals per game.
Over. I like this guy. Me a lot. I think he's going to really help improve the Blazers defense. He can help on offense some. He's tenacious. He's got a bit of that ball magnet in his game. He's active. He's in the way. I'm going over. Easy.
Me too. I think this is an easy one. I think I kind of think 1.2 might have been a better number on this. In 20 minutes per game as a rookie, Larry Nance averaged 0.9 steals per game. Since then, he's averaged at least 1.0 per game, including in year 3 when he played just 22 minutes a night. He averaged 1.3 steals per game. The dude is, like you said, has a real ball magnet to his game. Really good sense, really good hands. He's going to, if he plays like a straight point of attack defender role where he's like guarding the ball, then he'll have less steals. But if he gets to be a help defender where he's best, he's going to come away with a ton of steals because he's good at it. Mm-hmm. I'm heavy in the over. Our next one, Charles, Norman Powell, over under 40.5% from 3. What do you got?
I'm going under on this one. That's a nice number.
It is.
Shooting percentage, especially on some volume. And I'm going under here. Maybe Norm is getting some more spot up opportunities this year. Maybe not. I don't even know historically if he does hit better on those spot ups versus.
He's been a really good standstill shooter in Toronto. Okay. Actually, I have his numbers. Right here. Just these are raw shooting numbers. But in 2018-19, 40% from 3. In 19-20, 39.9% from 3. And last year in Toronto, 43.9% from 3. But then he shot below 37% with the Blazers. So I think this line is really good. I also have the under. I wonder for you if the number was 39.5 and not 40.5, would that change your mind, or you still lean a little under?
Yeah, that could potentially change my mind. I think he improves a little bit on last year. New environment, new system, new arena, new home arena you're playing in, maybe with some different lighting. I do think those things can affect a shooter's
sure.
Sort of flow and sort of moment. So I think he settles a little bit this year, but I don't know what I would feel if it was 39.5, because I think he ends up under that 40% mark, but close to
40
it.
40 is an elite shooter, and Norman Powell can be that. It's just like I feel like it's safe money to say that he won't be, right? Like this is safe money to say under 40%. But it wouldn't, like, if Powell's a 41% 3-point shooter, I'm not going to be shocked. So if you're listening in your headphones, if you're listening in your headphones or watching on YouTube right now and screaming at us that we're wrong, fair.
No, that'd be cool. I'd like to be wrong on this one.
Yeah, fair. I think this is one that this is a good line, because I think 40% is pretty good one. Robert Covington, over under 1.1 blocks per game. Where are you at?
I'm going under on this one, even though that is around kind of his career sort of numbers.
Right.
And I think he'll be close to that. So another kind of good line set here for us to chew on. Yeah, he's getting a little bit older. He's a great defender, but blocks aren't always everything to a
Right.
defender's game. I'm going under on this one, and maybe sharing the court with some small ball lineups like Larry Nance. So he's sort of shifting over. Of course, that opens him up for sort of help side blocks, but I'm going under, Mike. This is a good one, though.
Yeah, I really like this line also. And I actually have a pretty similar logic to you. I'm going under. Last year, he averaged 1.2 a game with the Blazers. And the year before, when he played like exclusively center the back half of the season with the Houston Rockets, he averaged
Right.
2.2 blocks per game. He's not going to play that much center this year. And like I know that like positions aren't everything, but they are because there's a lot of math that suggests like what position you play or if you're the tallest guy on the court type of thing, like as you scale up, that it does sort of define where your shots come from more than you would think. And that means defines where the person's guarding you stands to some extent. And I think
Hmm.
with Nurk and Zeller and Nance all able to play center, we're just going to see less Rocco at the 5. And I think less Rocco at the 5 means less blocks. I'm going to go under, but this was a really good line. This was one
Hmm.
that this was
Hmm.
probably one that I had more trouble with than others because I went back and forth in my notes. Okay, next one. Ben McLemore, 49 and a half games played.
This one was also, I think, set so well.
Perfect
I've
line. Yeah.
I've got under here, and there's just been so much inconsistency in Macklemore's entire career, really, but the last couple years especially, where he's sort of been like flirting in and out of the league and playing a little, playing a lot, all of a sudden.
Right.
Um, so it's hard to say how he's going to sort of carve out that space, and if the rest of the sort of roster construction or rotations allow him to even do that. I'm going under, but I got no idea.
Yeah. So if I had written this in pen, I do a lot of my sort of work prep in like a notebook, like pen and paper. I did this in a Google Doc because it was just easier for me. A lot of cutting and pasting because me and you were emailing back and forth. But you would have seen me cross out over, cross out under, cross out over. Like I went back and forth so many times. I landed it over just because I think like randomly he'll play 2/3 of the games just in like spot minutes and like, oh, we need a shooter for once, like there's 4 seconds left in the second quarter, let's put
Mm,
another shooter on the court type of thing.
right, right.
Um so I landed over, but this is a tough one. 50 games is they just have a lot of guards, you know? Like Damon CJ
Hmm.
are going to play a bunch. Ant's going to play a bunch. Norm's going to play a bunch with that second unit. They don't have another guard there, but if they keep Dennis Smith Jr., then he's the other point guard you would use. There seems like there's going to be a lot of nights where McLemore does not play, but does that number reach what 33? I guess is the number. I say no, but this is close. This is really close.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised on a huge sort of fluctuation variance of games played for him. Maybe
Totally.
he's just not in the lineup at all. Things aren't working out, but he's got decent size to him, so you can see him sort of sticking in a little while, especially if his shot is falling, which has also been inconsistent in his career. But
Right.
you like
He
kind of
for a
the
long time he
looks.
was a shooter. He was a shooter who couldn't shoot. Like that was he was like
Yeah,
this. He
beautiful
had
jump
this.
shot, and he just didn't
Yeah.
really hit it at like a high
Yeah.
clip. I've always found that odd. I think his
Right.
jump shot's gorgeous, but
Beautiful. Yeah, it's a beautiful jumper. But then it would he shot whatever well below league average with the Kings. The stink of the Kings maybe got him. That will happen to you. See like every Kings draft pick for the last 20 years. Um, Over under 6.5 points per game for Cody Zeller.
Big Handsome, my fellow Indiana Hoosier brethren.
Huge Hoosier legend.
Zeller Bros are Hoosier legends for sure. Three brothers in the
Washington High
NBA.
School? Is that where he went?
Yeah, I think that's it.
I know that's where his older brother went. Washington
Yeah.
High. Shout out to beautiful Indiana.
I'm going over though. I like the
Yeah,
guy. If he's sort of playing, if he's healthy, it gives you a lot. He and the Larry Nance sort of acquisitions are the two moves I'm most excited about. That sort of front court depth and sort of versatility. The guys, I think, is just he's solid. He's rock solid, and he's
yep,
bound to get like 1 to 2 free throws every single game.
sure.
Just in and around the rim, just kind of banging, just offensive putback or something like that. So he's going to get to the line at least once or twice a game, and then just a freebie or so also. So I think over on this one.
I'm over as well. And part of my logic here is like I'm with you, I think totally spot on with your analysis. But to add to that, how much is Nurk gonna play? Is Nurk's not a 35-minute a night guy. Like, he's
Unfortunately
not.
not. Yeah,
He
unfortunately
might
not.
be. They might try to push him to 30 minutes a night, but like, I think realistically 27, 28 is probably where about, like, especially with the way they're going to play defense, like how much you can ask Nurk to play and be effective. He's flying around out there. They're going to need depth. And I think to me, that's Cody. And we'll see. I kind of think it's over. Like, I think it's over. I think 7.5, I would get a little dicey on. 8.5, I would take the under. But like,
Mhm.
I think he's like an 8. I think he's like an 8-8 guy off the bench.
Yeah, yeah, pretty consistent with what he can give you, and it's we're hoping and praying on his health, but then he busts his nose up. I did see
Oh
that
my
news in one of the
gosh.
first games. That's just
Have you seen the clip of it?
yeah, I did because it was on
Yeah.
Iguodala, just kind of catching him awkwardly, sort of.
Yeah. Just kind of turning around and just caught him straight with the forearm elbow right to the bridge of his nose. It looked, I was at the
Popped.
game and I was at the game and I like audibly, I was like, ooh, like from far away. I was like, I'm up in 213 or whatever, like at the top of the lower bowl. And even from there, I was like, oh no. Like it took me days to see the replay. Once I found out how bad it was, I was like, okay, I need to watch the replay, I guess, of this. And
It's right
luckily
on the
the good,
schnoz, It's not even
yeah.
like he can like roll with the punch, so to speak, on his cheek
Oh.
or something like that. That's a bummer, but he'll be back fighting with the mask. So I'm over on Cody.
The big handsome, only better news for the big handsome to get that nose rearranged. That's my
That's
guy.
right, just some fire to get him going.
Okay, last over under, and we could talk about this one at length a little bit. Is over under. This one comes from BetOnline.ag, a sponsor of this podcast, and Ben Sprouse doesn't work for BetOnline.ag, but maybe BetOnline, y'all should hire him because Ben sets
Take a look.
fire lines. But this last one is courtesy of BetOnline.ag. Over under 44.5 wins for the Portland Trailblazers.
We're going over. We're
Yeah.
going over. Blazers, they'd rather consistently overperform or sort of meet the under conditions, I feel like, in a
I think
lot of
7 of
those.
their last 8 years, they have beat the preseason
Yeah,
odds
and
as set
it's
by the Westlake Casino in Las Vegas, like the book that ESPN uses.
yeah. I think that's just part and parcel of Damian Lillard's game and his role and influence on this team. That's just what he does as well. If the team has struggles at any point in the season, Dame puts the team on his back and gets them where they need to be for the most part, at least in the regular season, right? So over easy
It's
money.
all,
I bet the odds aren't even that good for your return on your
no,
bet.
they're not particularly good. You're gonna have to bet a lot of money. It also might be a testament to Neil Olshey building some uninspiring rosters that they keep putting the over under so low that the Blazers can achieve it. Is that from the outside, it's like, okay, what is this group? Like, I don't, and like apparently the Ed Davis, Alfred Camino, Mo Harkless group was fantastic, right? But like, it's they fantastic. They won 44 games and it felt like a miracle. But the over under that year was like 27.5. So
Yeah,
it's
it speaks to solidity of the Blazers as well over the past couple years. And if you can credit Olshey for anything, you can credit him for a lot of things. But one is to sort of maintaining the culture a little bit. There's not any sort of crazy fires and emergencies and drama around the
no, they're
Blazers
mostly him.
franchise. Yeah, exactly. So that lends itself to their sort of solid sort of consistency. So yeah, I got him over 40, 44. I got him winning 48. That's my prediction.
48.
48
Okay, that's your
games.
prediction. What is that? Do you penciled it out? Where do you have them finishing in the West?
I haven't really looked at that in comparison to the other sort of playoff and play-in spots. So I don't know.
Well, let me ask you in real time.
Yep, let's go.
Are they better than the Dallas Mavericks?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I
Are they better than the
still
Los Angeles Clippers?
I don't know about that one. They're Kawhi-less. That means so much, but I like what they have going on there. I don't know. I think
Yeah,
they're
you
around the
own a
level.
Nicholas Batum jersey. You should.
I mean, PG is really good too, and he
Yeah.
he had his sort of moments on the whipping post, memed in the bubble and whatnot. But he's a great player, and he's been a great player.
Yeah. Are the Blazers better than the Warriors?
No,
Are they better than the Denver Nuggets?
no,
Okay, so we've got 3 teams ahead and 1 team behind. Are they better than the Phoenix Suns?
No, but I don't know where the Suns are really going to be. Actually, we won't get too deep into this because I could talk a while about what I think about them coming up.
We'll
This
bring you
season,
back
but
for a full
yeah,
Western Conference preview.
I do think the Suns are better, assuming that Chris Paul's around.
Sure. Are they better?
Maybe
Are the Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, you.
Okay, fine. Are they are they better than the Utah Jazz? Are the Blazers better than Jazz?
No.
Not in the regular season. They might beat them in the playoffs. I agree with that.
Yeah, exactly. They're too solid with Gobert in the regular season. They're
They're
rock
going to whoop
solid.
ass in the regular season. It's just in the playoffs, their lack of perimeter defense might get them exposed. Does that sound familiar? Are the Portland Trail Blazers better than the Los Angeles Lakers in the regular season?
No. I mean, I don't have the Blazers in the top 4, obviously, from this little exercise.
It sounds like they're seventh. It sounds like they're seventh based on this exercise.
I still think 48 maybe gets them there, though.
Yeah, the West. I mean, there's a bunch of good teams in the West.
Yeah,
we haven't even
Memphis
or New Orleans. I'm not a believer in the Pelicans even a little bit. But
No, they're
as a
terrible.
team, I'm a believer in Zion Williamson being very good at basketball, but not as teammates necessarily. With apologies to Jonas Valanciunas, whom I love. Not apologizing to anyone who went to Duke, though, not other than Zion.
Yeah, no, we don't need to talk about them. They're trash. But Memphis, I mean, they should be all right. You know,
they're going to be tough.
The West is deep, man. What can you do?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I have the Blazers at 47 wins. That's my pick. I'm like harassing you, like, how good are they? And I have them winning one less game.
Hey, let's get down to the nitty gritty, though. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, so I have them winning one less game, and I think sixth is my prediction. I penciled it out last year. I sent you my little penciled out predictions, and I think I missed like something like 6 of the 8 playoff teams in the Eastern Conference. So please don't share that. Please don't share that text message I sent you last year.
East was weird last year. East is always kind of weird, man. You don't know who's going to find some form,
I was
like a
really
strange
wrong.
team.
Yeah, I was really wrong about Indiana and Toronto. It happens. So, yeah. Well, you don't have anything to plug, but I don't know. Go check out a book from a public library.
Support the arts.
Yeah, support the arts. Write someone you love a handwritten note in Charles's honor. He loves a good handwritten note. Yeah, love a letter. So yeah, do those things. Also, tell your friends about this show. That would be wonderful for me. And tell them they can find it wherever they get podcasts. Just search Locked On Blazers, be there waiting for you. And tell them they can find it on YouTube. We are up.
Y'all.
We are up there. You can watch me and Charles have this discussion in our lives from our homes across the country. But listen, we are at 600 subscribers. We're trying to get to 1,000 by Halloween. We are more than halfway there at the halfway point of October, but I need your help to get there. So if you are listening and you haven't subscribed, take your phone out right now, go to YouTube and subscribe to Locked On Blazers. Then tell one friend, Blazer, you have one Blazer friend, tell them to do it. Okay? That's what I ask of you is subscribe and then ask a friend to do the same because I want to grow the show. I want it to be the best Blazer podcast that there is, and I need your help to do that. So subscribe to the show wherever you get podcasts, subscribe on YouTube, and come back next week when we will finish out player previews. We will preview the Blazers' first game of the season, opening nights, less than a week away. A ton of fun. We'll have interviews next week, and not too long. We'll get you back in here, Charles. Appreciate you hanging with us for a little bit, man.
Thank you for having me. Go Blazers.
Oh, we'll get you back soon. Appreciate you, dude.